Sonic Moons is the fourth full-length album from Domkraft, which is a Swedish band that sort of they sort of flirt with stoner doom metal, psychedelic doom metal, and sludge metal, all in various amounts per their four albums. And this being the latest one, it certainly is leaning more towards the psychedelic doom and the sort of away from the more in-pained sludge metal side of the band, which was always a bit drastic, distant, and very serious in its mood and movement. Now, the sort of space rock influences seem to really be better incorporated on this record than the last few. They've always focused on stoner, kind of sludgy stoner doom metal, but now the psychedelic rock and the space rock is sort of, they found a way to put it in there more often. So now a lot of the comparisons to like UFO Mammoth and bands like that start to make sense when we sit with this record, because there clearly are some what I would consider 80s space rock influences in some of the rhythms, the bass lines, and how they crawl around. Maybe a fan of Rancid Pazuzu would understand what that means, but basically the movement of these songs is a little bit more spaced out. It just is more free moving and jammed in some of its feeling. Syncopated grooves and heavier grooves are still a major part of their song, and we'll hear that on this preview song here right now. So I didn't feel like this album totally erased the angst of Domkraft's sound. There is some sort of existential rawness that is in the vocalist's tone at all times, especially in the more aggressive parts of the album and most of their work. But on this album, he changes it up a few times on a couple of key songs that feel just different, and I would say more akin to the popular psychedelic rock of right now. The more free guitar work that features all over this record, and less of a focus on the riff, if infrequently, and when the band kind of freaks out here and there in a more heady way. So overall, I don't have any real concrete criticisms of this album because it is very finely produced. They've had that down from the beginning. The production is always very fine on these records, and the the psychedelia of it all, these sort of contained songs, still do have some of that angst to them, which isn't something, they're kind of holding on to that signature. And I think that's the big takeaway for me, is that they're still holding on to that signature when they clearly want to do something a little bit different. And so this is kind of a half step away from that. It's not so much experimental as it is successful in taking that half step. And I felt like it was a cool thing to see this band do at this point, because as much as I liked Seeds, it seemed like it was time to do something a little bit different, and this is it. So a moderately high recommendation for me. I don't think they fully get there. I really enjoyed listening to this album. It's great to sit with, and I think the songwriting has improved in terms of variation and some different moods in there. But overall, the whole package just didn't really fully come together. So go ahead and read the review if you'd like more details than that, and check out the album when it releases in about a week.